Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Buenas tardes, buenos días, buenas noches, donde quiera que usted esté. Gracias por estar con nosotros nuevamente aquí en Voces en Acción, dándole la información que se necesita para mantenerse informado a lo largo de lo que está pasando en el área de los Estados Unidos, específicamente en Texas, Montgomery County y el área de Conroe, con todo lo que son los condados alrededor de esa área, para poder mantener informado y darle la veracidad clara, todo lo que usted necesita saber, en especial en este momento tan crucial en el que está pasando la comunidad y en los Estados Unidos, ya que estamos terminando hoy. Es el último día de votación temprana. Si no ha ido a votar, párese en la línea porque el 5 va a ser horrible. Y el día 5, el día de votación de todos los candidatos que están, no solamente el presidente o vicepresidente, sino también estamos votando por legisladores, por toda clase de jueces y por los directores de la Junta Directiva de sus distritos escolares. Por favor, pongan mucha atención acerca de eso. Como siempre se los digo, es crucial la decisión que usted tome como votante. Ya no soy yo. No, Voces en Acción no está aquí para decirle por quién votar, pero sí está para decirle que tiene que educarse y votar antes de tomar su decisión, justamente leyendo las plataformas correctas. Y quiero dar las gracias a First Financial Bank, que siempre está apoyándonos en Voces en Acción, está dándonos todo tipo de información, están a la vanguardia económica, financieramente ayudándonos a que todo Montgomery, todo Conroe esté estabilizada desde 1930 y pico, 80 y pico, creo que están ellos. Y que si usted necesita un préstamo de casa o necesita algún tipo de transacción financiera, puede localizarlos al 936-439-1800, 936-439-1800. Voy a hablar con mi no parlantes español ahora mismo. Gracias. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for giving me one more chance to be with you on Voces en Acción. Of course, as you know, this is a fully bilingual show, and I have to talk to both of y'all. If you're really listening to me, this is Jenny Rosales from Voces en Acción, here making sure that you get the proper information from all the counties, whether it's in the whole United States and the things that are happening internationally, and at the same time, Texas, Montgomery County, and Conroe, where we are usually working from, and things that will affect your community, things that you're able to find out and read about it and search, because like I said all the time, I can give you the information, but I'm not going to make your choices. You have to make your choices. And when you make your choices, you do it by reading, understanding, and making sure you inform yourself in everything. Now we are the last day of voting. And as part of Voces en Acción, as an educational program, please, if you have not gone to vote, this is the time to pick up your purse or your wallet and go and vote. Take with you all the proper information and make sure you make a wise decision when you're electing your officials. It's not only that you're running or we're electing a president or a vice president. That's not only that. You're electing school boards. You're electing judges. We're electing every single type of government officials that are in our counties. And if you guys do not vote for the right person, then do not complain. Do not call me and say you're complaining because of the government. No, if you selected it and you didn't vote it, guess what? There's nothing I can do, but I can give you the information. I'm able to just tell you, go ahead and make sure that you understand that there were people that died for your right to vote. that's the respect that you have to have, and that's about it. Today, I'm so honored. First of all, I want to say thanks to First Financial Bank. They've been with us since the 1900s, and they're so big supporter of our show and our radio station, along with Lone Star Community Radio, and they are. Always making sure that your finances are okay. If you're needing a loan, if you're needing any type of basic accounts, they're able to help you with. You can contact them at 936-439-1800, 936-439-1800. Today, I am honored one more time, and I'm going to be doing this as long as this gentleman is here. He's the administrator of Montgomery County, and he needs to be here every time. So I keep pulling him out of his office. And he's busy, and he has taken his sweet time to come and dedicate it to the Hispanic community, to all the community that is listening to me, all the listeners of Voces en Accion and in my podcast. Thank you, Josh Keough. It's an honor, like usual, for me to have you in my show, because every time you come and give me an update, that means I'm able to provide my community with these resources that you need me to do. And at the same time, you're coming with Jason. Jason is the chief of staff. Are you basically chief of staff, or
I'm the deputy chief of staff.
I'm so sorry, sir. Deputy chief of staff. Jason is joining along with Josh Keough, and we're gonna have a nice talk about what's going on with Montgomery County. How can we help as a Hispanic community? How can we get involved with them? Because believe me, they are busy. Thank you, Josh.
Jenny, you're awesome. Thank you so much for allowing us to come here. It's an honor to be able to come here on your show and to talk to the constituents that listen to you, and to bring my deputy chief of staff here, Jason. My chief of staff is Jason Millsaps.
Okay, exactly.
He's also in charge of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And I wanted Jason to come over and introduce him to everybody, because he does a lot of work for me. He's involved in writing of resolutions and orders and policy and all kinds of things. Very well educated, very able to do this, and has a law enforcement background. He used to be my deputy constable.
Constable,
That's
exactly.
right.
I remember you being in that part, but now the new transition, or it's been probably recent that you got that you've been working. El señor Josh Keough es el administrador del Condado de Montgomery completamente, juez administrador. Él se encarga de todo lo que está pasando en Montgomery, señores, y él ha tomado su tiempo, su tiempo tan ocupado de su agenda para venir a dedicárnoslas e informar a los constituyentes, a todos, que vivimos y trabajamos en el área de Montgomery, qué es lo que está pasando. Y también trajo con él el señor Jason Smith. Él es el Deputy Chief of Staff, o sea, el diputado encargado de todo lo que es las personas que trabajan con el condado, y al mismo tiempo él se encarga de escribir las ordenanzas y trabajar conjuntamente con el juez acerca de hacer las órdenes completamente. Por eso fue que el juez lo trajo hoy día. Go ahead, sir.
So the big issue right now that's going on, as everyone knows, are the elections.
Okay. Lo más grande que él quiere expresar en estos momentos es que todos sabemos que estamos en medio de elecciones. Go ahead, sir.
We are having record attendance. Never in the history of Montgomery County have we had this many people show up, and we'll probably have a 75 to 80%, it looks like, turnout in the elections by the time it's all done here in Montgomery County, and that is huge for the state of Texas.
I had never seen something like that in my life. I've been a judge in several other elections on the past few years, and it's scary when I went to vote and I had to wait an hour and a half on lines. This is a record, and according to the percentages that I have, we're talking about 30 to 45% already voted
right.
on Montgomery County. We have
Right.
around 60, almost close to 50 percentage that is not voting, and we're trying to push them out, because on the 5th, I'm a judge. I don't want to be waiting until 11 o'clock to turn in my votes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I understand what's going on. Lo más grande que él está viendo en estos momentos es los porcentajes de votaciones. Señores, es lo más grande que está pasando. La gente está en fila de hasta 2 horas en ciertos condados. 2 horas para votación, ¿ok? Y estamos hablando de las elecciones adelantadas o tempranas. El martes es el único día y usted tiene que ir a su precinto. Ahí es donde vamos a asustarnos. Los porcentajes están ahorita mismo en Montgomery County de al menos 45, vamos a decir, roughly, % de los votantes registrados ya han votado. Faltan unos 60. si vamos a ponerlo de esa manera, ¿ok? Y esos 60 tienen que agarrar esta notificación del juez y del deputy. Por favor, vayan a votar. I'm telling them they have to go and vote. They cannot sit down. They need to go now.
That's right. That's right. Because if you wait till the day of, oh my goodness, you're going to be waiting for hours. If you recall what took place in a presidential election 2 times ago, it was unbelievable the amount of people that were out there on the day of the general election. So if you can get out today, do it. And even if you got to wait a little bit today. I went last Sunday. I typically go on the very first day of the voting. I went there and I saw the lines. I thought, I got to go to work. So finally after church, my wife went and waited during the daytime one day. And then I went over down at the library down in the Woodlands, and I ended up voting down there. And it took me about an hour and 15 minutes. It wasn't too bad.
Well, I squeezed because I'm handicapped, so they just put me through the line. I was
Well,
easy
it was,
to-
but it was fun talking to the people and getting
Yes.
people's views on things. and
Exactly.
It was good. So.
Dice que él les exhorta que por favor vayan a votar ahora, porque el martes va a ser horrible. Si las líneas están en espera ahorita mismo de 1 hora y pico, imagínense el martes, todo el mundo quiere votar al último minuto. Entonces eso se acumula y va a ser horas y horas de espera. Y realmente los centros de votaciones abren a las 7 de la mañana y cierran a las 7 de la noche. En mi precinto, as a judge, en mi precinto como juez, yo cierro a las 7 de la noche en punto. El que no está ahí para las 7 de la noche no va a votar. Así que se los aviso desde ahora. No quiero decir el número de precinto. Ustedes pueden buscar la lista de jueces nominados para los precintos. Am I right, Judge Jason? The rules are 7 to 7, period. 7 o'clock, we close everything.
That's right.
Yeah, so as long as you're in line
Exactly,
by 7 o'clock,
exactly.
you know, they're not going to turn anybody
No,
away. So as long as you're in line and ready to vote by 7 o'clock, now if you get there after 7, you're
That's
going to be
it.
turned away.
Exactly.
But as long as you're in line ready to vote, they're going to keep the voting boxes open until you get in and get your chance to vote.
Quiero repetir lo que acaba de decir el señor Jason. Si usted está en la línea a las 7 de la noche en punto, después de las 7 de la noche, el que no está en la línea se les va a devolver a casa, para que sepan desde ahora, ¿ok? Vayan ahora, que es temprano todavía. Go ahead, sir.
So with that, all of these election issues that are going on, we're very concerned about election integrity and making sure that people have proper IDs, that the right people are voting and the right and how they want to vote's up to them, but we want to make sure that we can identify who they are, that they're registered. But we've also done something additional, is that we're required by the state after the election is over to pick out 3 precincts and within individual elections and check whether or not everything matches up like it's supposed to. Well, we took it a step farther here in Montgomery County. We contacted the Secretary of State and we said, and oh, by the way, the Secretary of State is the one who chooses the precincts and the votes. So we said we'd like to do something ourselves as well. So we made an agreement and they said we could do it. I wrote a letter off to the state, asked them what we could do. We will pick out 4 precincts ourselves. We'll get a group of people together and they will randomly pick out 4 precincts, and then they will decide what elements they're going to check out on the various elections, and we'll count accordingly on top of what the state does. And that way, we'll satisfy those who are doubters that whether or not the state really has got this deal wired, of which I believe they do. And but it lets the individual, our constituents, be involved in the integrity process.
You're going to be doing a check and balance, basically, to make sure that
That's right.
those precincts are following the procedures correctly in all
That's right.
aspects. Am I right?
Well, what it's going to do is you know the ballots are electronically counted
Exactly.
at each poll box. So what these manual recounts are going to do is verify that the numbers that were counted by the electronic ballot counters are matching up to a manual hand count. So a lot of the concern that the people were voicing had to do with not trusting the electronic ballot counters and not trusting that there may be some manipulation in the coding.
Yeah, what happened in Dallas that people started screaming that, you know,
Yeah.
they were printing Democratic when they were voting Republican, they were printing Democratic. Yeah, I saw 2 or 3 people getting, you know, and I understood that was basically an operator error. It was not even due to the machine sweeping anything.
Yeah, that specific incident had to do with they weren't timing it. So as people were going to register, they were actually getting the person either in front of them or behind them's
ballots.
And so
That's
everything
a
was
problem.
working correctly. It was a human error where they were getting handed the wrong ballot to go, or the wrong code essentially to go type in. And so they were essentially voting on the person. I don't remember if it was in front or behind, but it was either the person in front of them or behind them's ballot that they were voting. And so they may get...
The other thing, not only that, that can be solved. We can void
Easy
that one
fix.
and we can go ahead and
Easy
reissue a
fix.
new coding and everything that's no problem.
Right.
But, this goes to the news and it blows up a proportion and people start thinking that everything is going to be wrong in every single one of the counties.
Let me tell you, when this whole issue came up, we had a number of constituents come to the court, and they wanted to meet with us and express their concerns. And we had not noticed that particular meeting properly, and so we invited them to come back in 72 hours, give us your questions about what you have about all these various issues, and I'll go ahead and I will study them, I will read it, and we will have a discussion. So everybody, how many people were at that meeting, Jason?
Probably 150, 200 people.
Isn't that the one that the commissioner's court, that they went to your commissioner's court to talk to you
Yes.
before? Not even sure, they just show up? I heard about that.
Well, no. Well, that's where it started.
That's when it started.
That's where it started. But they showed up during constituent comments.
Okay,
People are able, if it's an item on the agenda, they're able to come and for 3 minutes talk about it. Well, we hadn't noticed the meeting properly, and so we had to reschedule. And we went and rescheduled for that upcoming Friday. And so we met for 3.5 hours. But it gave me the opportunity to get with the Secretary of State
to do the letter and
look at
request
the
for this
certification
process.
Yeah, and how we go about certifying these things and who's involved with it. And most of it, the thing that was frustrating for the people and for me to see was that they didn't feel like they had an outlet to be able to share with anybody, to be able to get it to the court.
Exactly.
And so I
you
said,
did
let's
the work then.
just get together.
Okay.
So we had a workshop. And I told them at the beginning of the workshop, Jenny, we're not going to make any decisions today. And we were unable to, but that we want to hear what you have to say, but we want to interact with you because it's a workshop, we can talk. And it doesn't have to be noticed, and there doesn't have to be a quorum of commissioners there.
Okay.
So we went ahead and did that. It was
Let
fantastic.
me translate this part, and I'm going to go in pieces with them in Spanish, so they make sure what's going on.
Right.
El juez está hablando ahorita, estamos hablando sobre la integridad de las votaciones. ¿Por qué? Por eso el sentido de que sé que ustedes muchos han oído que en varios lugares en Pensilvania pasó y pasó en Dallas y pasó en otros lugares donde la gente iba a votar, van a votar y de repente imprimían su baleta y cuando la veían no era lo que ellos habían votado. Y el problema era que no era de que el sistema había cambiado las votaciones suyas, sino que automáticamente había un error humano de codificación. De cuando se le puso la información suya en el sistema, se printió un código y la persona fue a votar y la otra persona vino una vez y votó en el mismo lugar. Automáticamente la imprenta agarraba lo que tenía la persona antes o después de usted. Entonces, eso fue lo que pasó. Entonces, claro, la media, mis compañeros de media, hicieron esto blow out of proportion, o sea, lo sacaron de proporción. Por eso el sentido de que realmente eso fue un error humano. A raíz de esto, el juez ha comenzado a hacer una encuesta de lo que se llama la integridad de la votación, el mantener que los ID o que el ID que usted presente a los clerk, a las personas que están trabajando en las votaciones y que esto esté registrado sea completo, que usted tenga un ID válido. Recuérdese, cuando hablo de un ID válido estoy hablando de una licencia, si usted es ciudadano americano, su pasaporte, si usted es ciudadano americano, tener si no tiene la licencia y no tiene pasaporte, o si tiene una licencia de viaje de menos de 5 años, lo puede tener. Si puede tener con usted su seguro social, su voters registration, que le dan una hoja de registración de voters, es amarilla, en Montgomery County es amarilla con blanco, llega a su casa y usted la recibe, esa la puede llevar cuando está firmada junto con el ID. Eso ayudaría mucho a eliminar todos estos procesos y todo este tipo de problemas. Segundo, dice que en una reunión le llegaron un montón de constituyentes al sector del juez y se reunieron con él para poder aclarar problemas de votación. Y él trató de reunirse con ellos, era un montón, eran más de, you said about 100 and something constitution.
Yeah, it's about 150, 200 people.
Como 200 personas llegaron al área donde, a la corte donde está el juez, y se reunieron para hablar con él acerca del proceso de votación, cómo estaban viendo la situación, qué era lo que estaba pasando, y él aclaró esta situación. Él lo que hizo es, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a hacer una cosa. Voy a hablar con el Departamento de Estado, hablar con el Secretario de Estado, voy a escribir una carta para ver si hacemos algo. En Montgomery County se van a elegir, después de que se acaben las votaciones, 4 precintos. Esos 4 precintos van a ser evaluados, van a ser seleccionados randomly de los... How many precincts do we have?
114.
14. Okay. Yeah, I stopped at 100.
That's all right. It was 111.
It
now
was,
it's
yeah, it was at 11. I wasn't judging 111, so no, it's 114. Tenemos 114 precintos. Esos 114 precintos se van a elegir 4 y se va a hacer lo que se llama una evaluación, un escrutinio completo de lo que son las balotas contadas electrónicamente junto con las manuales para que hagan ¿cómo se dice? Un match o una congregación, una compilación correcta de que los que se contaron manualmente y los que se contaron electrónicamente están balanceados. Eso es lo que se va a hacer. Entonces, el secretario de Estado aprobó esto, porque el que se encarga de todo esto es el secretario de Estado junto con el gobernador. Entonces, eso es lo que estamos hablando honestamente, y claramente el juez tuvo un workshop que se llama un día de entrenamiento para asegurarse que todo esto conjuntamente con el centro de votaciones y los administradores de votaciones estén al día con todo lo que se necesita. Por eso se les pide que vaya temprano a votar. I'm just telling them basically that you did the workshop, you just, everything, Spanish, Jason.
Yes.
So I went 100% on it. If I miss something, let me know, Jason. Pero es justo que sepamos que el juez y todo su equipo están trabajando. Porque recuérdense que no solamente están trabajando en el área de ver cómo los votos están, sino que además de eso tienen que ver los criminales que están por el área, la gente que está violando las leyes, todo eso, todo lo que está pasando en el condado con el tiempo, un montón de cosas. El juez está súper ocupado. Josh, I'm telling them that besides you doing this, you're taking care not only about that, you're taking care of the safety of all of us in the polls. In the top of that, safety of everybody that goes to vote, and the weather and the things that are going in the city and everything. So it's not only the voting. Okay?
Oh, no. There's so much involved in it, Jenny. There's no question about it. But anyway, elections are a big deal right now. We just came off the tail end of the Hurricane Beryl, and which was on the tail end of the flooding situation that happened just previously.
Exactly.
And because I'm, as county judge in our size county, I'm over Homeland Security and emergency management. And so I've assigned that to my chief of staff, Jason Millsaps, who oversees that. And I have to tell you, although it was difficult during the hurricane, we were on our game much quicker before everybody else was. Mm-hmm. I even had a chance to testify in the Senate, the Texas Senate, and in the House of Representatives on the positives of some companies and the failure of other electric companies in facilitating the turning on of electricity, of lights, and whatever the case may be, the power outages. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, in my neighborhood it was 2 weeks, and I know that.
I know.
Some people were able to, some people didn't, So some people had, like this year I decided, something I'm sorry, I'm paying to put a $15,000 generator, but I'm going to do it. You know why? Because I'm not going to wait. If something else comes in, I need light because I'm a person with illness. There's a lot of us, but not everybody has that money. Not everybody has that, to get a generator to be working and to keep your food. And, FEMA tells you they're going to pay you. They're not going to pay anything. They're not doing anything. I apologize, but that's my view.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, generator, good luck with the generator because it's going to take some time. Do it right now.
I already did
because you got a 3 to 4 month wait on these. I
love you. I already did it.
Good for you. I did it 2 years ago, And I got to tell you, that is the best investment that
People
we
don't
made.
understand that a generator at this point in a house is a must
I'm telling you.
versus not having one, because there's a lot of machinery like breathing machines and things that are people are asthmatic
right.
and stuff. That's a safety risk, and you cannot take those patients to the hospital because they're not gonna admit them if they're okay. So at this point, it's a whole mess. And then if you take them to the hospital, at what time? If it's everything floated around you, how are you gonna get to the hospital?
Here's the
Things
deal.
like that.
So you have the power outages. You have people then with the power outages, they cannot communicate. And when they can't communicate, they can't get food, they can't get gas, they can't go anywhere.
They
don't know
lose
what to
food,
do.
and that's something that and I
Unbelievable.
I was gonna ask you about that, sir, because I lost food. I lost $200 and almost $300 worth of food. Okay, because when you don't have a refrigerator, you don't have anything,
Right.
and and when the house smarts are like refrigerator, everything is gone, and you're like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Thanks the Lord, we have one of those camping sites, and I was able to camp for a couple of days.
Right.
But not everybody was able to do that. I say so. FEMA says they help, and I have complaints about FEMA because FEMA is not providing. They help you if the tree falls in your house, but they don't help you if there's no food and there's no light, and you had ended up paying.
FEMA is so overwhelmed. They are so overwhelmed across the entire nation with the amount of activity that's going on.
Yeah, with all the hurricanes.
We've invested as a county $27 million in cleanup of just the vegetation, the trees, the foliage. That doesn't include fences broken, roofs of people, none of that. We didn't do any of that. There's $27 million just to
Roads.
clean up the county as it is. And we've got to put that money up front. And
Exactly.
we're applying for it back quicker, but we're still receiving money from Hurricane Harvey.
Wow.
I mean, it just takes forever to get it done. So
Wow.
fortunately, Montgomery County has done well. We're conservative in how we spend our money, and we have resources to be able to upfront that money in order to help the people of the community. But when it comes to the issues, Jason, if they go to what website do they need to go to with us if they want to apply for any of that stuff, or where will they find the FEMA information?
So FEMA resources, you can find that online. I believe the website is FEMA.gov.
FEMA.org.
The problem right now is FEMA's broke.
They're broke because of the situation of the border. They're broke
Well-
because I'm sorry. They have to say it. They're broke, and then people don't want to understand that part. Of course, that's because it's being explained by Senator Ted Cruz, by Morgan Luttrell, but a lot of them, they're saying, yes, FEMA doesn't have any money because immigrants are coming in. We're trying to
There's
help
no
them,
question.
and we cannot do anything. And on top of that, all these other hurricanes, because they have to help in Miami. Look what happened in Miami right now. And a whole city basically devastated. So what happened in North Carolina? And people died. More than 100 people died in North Carolina because of this. It's unbelievable what's happening. So I know FEMA is broke. Yes, they should be broke right now.
Here's what I love to see. I love to see when we have a crisis like this, that people just don't wait on local government. They just don't wait on us. We can't get to everybody. But what I love to see is in communities, and Montgomery County does this. I think Montgomery County has great virtue in how they help those who cannot help themselves.
We have enough nonprofits
They have
that we're killing ourselves trying to work. And I'm a nonprofit myself, and Lone Star Community Radio is a nonprofit itself, and where there's a lot of people that are helping other people.
That's right. They're actually going out and they grab their chainsaws and they go out there and they're chopping those trees out of the streets and off the sidewalks and everything else, helping these people get that tree off a roof. I've seen it myself in the area where I live, and it's a blessing to see that. And the people, because if people, you cannot depend on local or federal government to meet your needs. God never created government for that. He wants us to be able to deal with each other. We get together in groups through the church, through our relationships. The amount of churches that jumped in to help in all this stuff was unbelievable.
Exactly.
And of course, we went out and we set up pods where we were giving out MREs, meals ready to eat. We were giving out fruits and vegetables and water, and people could come to those.
The food
and
bank,
they could
Montgomery
pick-
County Food Bank
yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, but that's from local businesses and whatnot, people given to those things. But I have to tell you, it's amazing. I think that one of the great things about Montgomery County is that the people are a good and generous, virtuous people.
Okay. Estamos hablando acerca de todo lo que ha pasado, sobre todo con el huracán Beryl. El huracán Beryl azotó el área y antes del huracán Beryl también hubo un montón de inundaciones por tormentas tropicales que habían. Así que de por sí ya Livingston Lake estaba lleno, Conroe Lake estaba devastado. O sea, habían perdido mucha gente en sus casas. Y encima de eso viene el huracán Beryl y termina de acabar con todo lo que pasaba. Muchos de mis constituyentes, de los que están hablando conmigo, de los que se comunican conmigo, han preguntado qué pasa con FEMA. FEMA está en bancarrota. Y lo dije en antito y lo repito, la mayoría de lo que digo yo es porque se ha comprobado mediante lo que está pasando en el gobierno federal, tanto el senador Ted Cruz y como muchos de los senadores están hablando directamente de que FEMA ya no tiene la suficiente capacidad para poder dar con todo lo que está pasando. Recuerden una cosa, antes de Beryl, encima de eso vino ahora Miami. Miami está saturado, está North Carolina y Tennessee, que han perdido miles de personas que han muerto, ¿okay? Por esos huracanes, y eso ha afectado. Cuando usted llama a FEMA para pedir por algo, le van a decir que no tienen, porque realmente no tienen. Están en un freeze ahorita mismo. Entonces, el reporte que el señor juez ha hecho al Senado de la Casa y a la Casa de Representantes de Texas ha sido favorable. Montgomery County ha podido sobresalir sobre todas las cosas que nos han pasado, porque ¿sabes qué? Tenemos una fuerza activa de organizaciones no lucrativas que están apoyando, iglesias que están apoyando, porque como dice él claramente, yo quisiera que la comunidad entendiera lo siguiente: no deberían depender del gobierno federal o el gobierno estatal en estos momentos, porque él tuvo que invertir 27 millones en la limpieza de calles solamente para levantar todos los árboles que cayeron en las calles, limpiar las calles para que el tráfico y la seguridad de ustedes estuvieran libres. Encima de eso, tener también que ayudar a aquellas personas con necesidad. El Centro de Asistencia de Montgomery County, el Montgomery Food Bank, también el Centro de Comida de Montgomery County, están constantemente llenos y repletos de comida para sus necesidades económicas. Si usted necesita aplicar a FEMA, puede ir, fema.gov. Automáticamente la saca y puede aplicar si usted lo necesita. Pero simple y sencillamente lo dice, ya de por sí están overwhelmed, están llenos de trabajo. Usted tiene que aprender a buscar las otras organizaciones que no son federales y que no son de gobiernos estatales para poder suplirse de sus necesidades, porque sí las hay. Hay un número que se llama 211 en todas las áreas y usted puede llamar al 211, I'm giving them 211, 211 puede darle el listado de organizaciones que pueden ayudarles a pagar sus necesidades en lo que usted se recupera. ¿Ok? Para poder usted ayudarse un poco y al mismo tiempo no tener que recorrer al Estado o al sistema federal para asistencia de esa manera. I have to say this, and I hate to say this, but one of our runners said directly, there's that we have to start as a community, not only depending on other nonprofits or the government. You have to start creating your savings and have a little bit back out and a plan B in case of an emergency. And we're so used not to do that. We're trying to just, if something seriously happened, the government will pay for me because I'm a U.S. citizen and because I belong. No, that doesn't work that way, Jason. And you know that. We have to have a plan B. Always. My mama used to say, if you make $5, save $2.
That's why the county is able to be able to put forth with resources that the federal government would take years to get. That $27 million, where did that come from? That came from our general fund, our
exactly.
fund balance. That we live below our means.
Okay. Es como le digo yo, tenemos que tener un plan B en todo sentido. No nos acostumbrados, sobre todo los hispanos, tenemos un problema muy grande. Gastamos y esperamos a que últimamente se sientan a que nos den. No, Señores, yo tengo 40 años en este país, prácticamente no se te les va a dar gratis todo. Usted tiene que guardar, tener un plan B. Si usted gana $5, guarde 2. Eso es lo que decía mi mamá todo el tiempo. Hay que saber ahorrar para tiempos de asperidad como estos, donde no hay fondos, donde no puede conseguir recursos, donde no tiene de dónde, para no tener que depender ni del gobierno federal ni del gobierno estatal. Usted mismo puede con sus 2 pies salir adelante. Los hispanos podemos hacer esto. Y esto es lo que se nos tiene que educar como parte del USA 101, United States 101. Ustedes es la primera clase que les quiero dar yo a ustedes. Simple y sencillamente ahorren. Busquen un centro y no debajo del colchón, porque se le quema la casa y se le inunda la casa, no va a poder sacar la plata del colchón. Tiene que ir a un banco, porque hay muchos bancos y puede guardar su dinero para poder tener estos problemas. I'm telling them to save, because that's one of the things of USA 101. If you want to come to this country, you need to work.
That's right.
And take a saving, and don't put it in a mattress, because if you get flooded or if you have fire, it's gonna go with it. So at this point, you have to get a bank institution to put your little money there and basically save your money for this type of instances. It's just, sir. Now, I know that you're very, very involved with the Montgomery County Animal Shelter. And we're going to talk about that in our next segment. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, sir.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about the Montgomery County Shelter, and we're going to talk about all the other projects that are coming that you want us to be aware of.
We'll do it.
¿Is that okay?
Yep.
Voy a tomar un break. Vamos a hablar ahorita, cuando venimos, sobre el shelter de animales que está sobrepoblado. Tenemos que hablar sobre eso porque hay muchas personas que están comprando perros nuevos cuando hay perros que necesitan ser adoptados. Y vamos a hablar sobre los planes que Jason y el Josh Mack, I'm sorry. I love Josh Mack. Josh Keough está tratando de implementar.
You can call me Judge Mark.
No, I'm sorry. No, I was talking. I didn't say Mark. I said Mac. Judge Mac.
Oh, you're thinking Judge Mack, Wayne Mack, dear friend.
Perdone,
Dear friend.
ya estaba confundiendo el nombre. Pido disculpas, pero sí vamos a hablar sobre eso en nuestro próximo segmento. Si me esperan, volvemos en unos minutos. We'll come back in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
Gracias nuevamente por estar con nosotros y gracias por apoyar a Voces en Acción y sobre todo por hacernos su elección en escuchar este show y mantenernos siempre al aire con ustedes. Vuelvo nuevamente con nosotros. Está el juez, es el administrador del Condado de Montgomery, el Josh Keough, él se llama Mark Keough. Una persona que es increíble, que nos está educando, y viene con Jason Smith. Jason es el deputy que trabaja con él, deputy staff, que está guiándonos, y ahorita vamos a hablar de 3 cosas. La primera es sobre el bajo nivel de criminalidad que tenemos en el condado. Después vamos a hablar sobre lo que son las calles, y voy a hablar con Jason acerca de las calles, y de último vamos a hablar sobre los animales en el condado. ¿Ok? Thank you for being with us. I got Josh with me, and I got Jason, and we're talking this time, we're going to continue talking in regards to the things. We're going to talk about low crime.
Okay.
Because I think that's one of the things that we need to listen as our safety.
Absolutely. I periodically get a chance to do state of the county addresses. And people ask, what is the reason for Montgomery County's growth? And one of the multiple elements for that is that we have low crime and people feel, for the most part, safe in Montgomery County. And so we have what we call a culture of deterrence. Go ahead and share that with the people.
Okay. Él tiene la oportunidad de dar todo el tiempo un estado del condado, de cómo está el condado, mediante sus reuniones con todo el mundo. Y las preguntas que le salen a él es que por qué estamos creciendo tanto en el condado de Montgomery, porque estamos creciendo increíblemente. Usted no tiene idea, esto de la noche a la mañana se ha puesto así, ¡fuf! Y está entrando todo el mundo. ¿Pero por qué? Porque tenemos lo que se llama la tasa más baja en estos momentos de criminalidad, porque él ha hecho un plan de desvío de criminalidad. Eso sería la palabra. Ellos le llaman deterrence, en donde agarra la criminalidad, la persona pasa por Montgomery County, se asegura que si va a hacer crimen aquí se le va a penalizar. Se puede ir para otro lado, pero aquí, entonces lo que hacen es que pasan por la 45 y siguen recto para otro lado, porque saben que aquí en Montgomery County no van a jugar con nadie. Aquí nosotros respetamos a los azules, se respeta, se les quiere, se les ama, se les adora. ¿Por qué? Porque ellos están defendiendo nuestros derechos, defendiendo nuestros hogares, defendiendo nuestras propiedades, defendiendo a nuestros hijos en las escuelas, defendiendo nuestra seguridad. Y por eso, eso se llama desvío de criminalidad. Go ahead, sir.
So what we do in order to make criminals not want to come here, first of all, they need to realize that if they break the law and get caught, they will be punished.
Dice que lo primero que hacen es que dar aviso a nivel nacional prácticamente de que si tú haces un crimen en Montgomery County, tú vas a pagar por ese crimen. Lo siento, ya estamos hartos los ciudadanos de ver cómo se viola las leyes en este condado, y gracias a este señor y a todo su equipo, nosotros podemos decir, en Montgomery County, si usted la hace, usted la paga. That's it.
So you'll be punished. That's number one. The second thing is that the punishment must fit the crime.
Okay.
Okay,
dice que la segunda cosa es que el pago del crimen se hace de acuerdo con el crimen. ¿Me explico? O sea que si usted robó, usted paga de acuerdo a los estatutos legales del robo. Si usted violó a una mujer, usted paga de acuerdo a los estatutos legales de violar a una mujer. Si usted mató a una persona, usted paga de acuerdo a los estatutos legales de Montgomery County sobre matar a una persona.
So the criminal, he knows that if he's going to commit a crime, that the punishment is going to be severe enough that he will regret doing it. That's the second element.
El elemento que viene es que básicamente el criminal, cuando viene a Montgomery County, se da cuenta que se hace un crimen y que el crimen tiene una penalidad severa, se arrepiente de hacerlo y quizás no lo hacen, por eso se van.
And thirdly, that they will be punished quickly.
Y otra cosa, la paga no es de muchos años, la paga es automática. Tratar de sentenciar a esa persona o hacer justicia rápida. No vamos a esperar ni vamos a perder el tiempo que se pierden en otros condados entre papeleo y no sé qué. No, los jueces, yo conozco a los jueces, and I know the judges, that's the worst thing. The judges in this county, they mean business.
That's right.
And thanks the Lord. And I'm going to be honest with you, I love all my judges. All of them, they know me. Judge McGuinness, and I love her to death. I Judge Echo, also Judge Stalker. We don't play with the judges. Okay, Judge Haley, my love to all of them, because they meant business. They're going to take the work and they're going to do it. They're not going to play around with you. No van a jugar con ustedes. Los jueces en este condado los conozco a toditos, y esos jueces agarran automáticamente la ley por la mano y la hacen justicia. Y la justicia se hace automática, no te esperan un docket de 3 o 8 o 10 meses, no. El docket viene, se pone en lista, usted paga y usted hace lo que tiene que hacer.
Jenny, it starts with the law enforcement officers. They have to have confidence that if they arrest somebody, that the district attorney will take their case. So you got to have a tough district attorney. We got one of the toughest district attorneys in the entire state of Texas.
Amazing, man.
He is. So he is doing a great job for us. And to compare what happens here versus what happens in Houston and the Harris County area, you know, when they turned over in 2019, when that election took place, they lost 64 conservative judges.
They have all reversed.
That's right. They completely reversed it. So a crime wave started.
Exactly.
And guess what? The tendency is to want to come north. So you got to have officers who have the confidence to know that if they arrest somebody, this person will go before the DA and the charges will be pressed. And then once that takes place, then you take them through what's called magistration, determining probable cause, and then you put them out on bail. And then you make sure that the prosecution is done. And that's where the judges come in. We have the finest judges in the state of Texas.
I've never seen
I mean
something like
this.
that. I know.
I'm not just saying that. They are unbelievable.
Amazing. I have to say, because majority are women, amazing women that are working on it, and they mean business, and they're, Judge Valdez, I cannot imagine anybody, like
Sure.
that.
So the citizens realize this. The result of which is this is one of the reasons why we're growing as fast as we are. People want to be in a safe place. This guy here was my deputy constable before he was deputy chief of staff. So he's fully aware of what goes on in that area. Law enforcement. And the result of them, he and the other Jason that works for me, arresting two individuals as they came over from Harris County into Montgomery County. They saw them swerving in traffic, pulled them over, and put them in handcuffs because they had open warrants for their arrest.
Wow.
Watch this. One says to the other, "Don't worry, we'll be out of here in 2 hours." This one turns around and says, "If you were 600 yards back that way, in Harris County, that'd be the case. Here, you are going to jail."
Exactly.
And they flipped out. So we put that sign out on the road that says, "Criminals, this is Montgomery County. We fund law enforcement.
Exactly.
We prosecute." County Judge Keough.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I love it.
great.
And you can put like 20 of them for me everywhere you should buy that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Él dice que básicamente lo que nos impacta en el condado de Montgomery es lo siguiente: lo que son los oficiales, los policías, pues, ellos se sienten seguros porque cuando ellos agarran un criminal y lo llevan delante del District Attorney, el señor Brett Ligon, que lo quiero muchísimo, el señor Brett Ligon toma la ley en sus manos y segura de que ese criminal pague aquí mismito. No es que son 2 horas que te vas a salir. Dice que acaba de contarme una historia donde tanto Jason como el otro Jason, que es el Jason, se encarga de lo que es la parte de Homeland Security, agarraron a unos criminales en la 45 y los tipos dijeron de que no te preocupes, dentro de 2 horas salimos. Y se voltea a Jason y le dice, no, 900 yardas atrás sí, porque estabas en Houston, pero aquí en Montgomery, no, aquí tú vas para la cárcel. ¿Por qué? Porque realmente tenían warrants, tenían órdenes de arresto, un montón, así que automáticamente se habían acumulado las órdenes de arresto y ellos tenían que pagar por esto. No solamente eso, él dice que el ver los jueces cómo trabajan conjuntamente, y yo lo voy a decir claramente, los jueces que yo les puedo mencionar, tanto la juez Valdés, la juez Keough Hudson, la juez o sea, que puedo mencionarle todos los nombres de los jueces. El juez Haley del Distrito 1, que es el que está todo el tiempo con lo que son los cargos de minoritarios de cárcel y lo que hay que hacer y todo lo demás. Todo eso se va al pie de la letra, de acuerdo, y el DA, junto con el señor Brett Ligon, que se encarga de poner los cargos correctos en la persona como debe de ser, no abusar, pero ponerle los cargos correctos y asegurarse de que esa persona pague por su tiempo en lo que él ha hecho. También, Josh Keough ha puesto en la entrada de Montgomery County, le digo que podría poner en todas las esquinas un letrero que dice claramente, criminales, está entrando a Montgomery County. Aquí nosotros apoyamos a la policía y nosotros le hacemos los cargos. Atentamente, Josh Keough. Y lo puso claramente en todos lados. ¿Por qué? Porque hay que respetar a los policías y a las personas, los first responders. Ellos están dando su vida, dejando a sus familias por nosotros. Nosotros tenemos que respetarlos a ellos. Sir, Rhodes.
I'll tell you, because we are growing the way that we're growing,
that's
obviously infrastructure is a problem.
Exactly.
And so we've been working very much with our commissioners, with the greater Houston area, and with the metropolitan planning area, what we call the MPO, or the group that takes federal monies and applies it to various areas. in our 13 county region. But Jason has been working specifically with me, and I wanted him to give us a quick overview of where we're at in terms of transportation. Because one of the things people forget, just because we have a traffic problem right now, it can be years and years. By the time we do environmental studies, by the time we acquire land to build roads,
I had that talk.
It's unbelievable.
I had that talk with Bert and then Larry and Nelda Blair in regards to Montgomery.
That's right.
Those people have history. They're founders here. And they gave us an overview, especially one of the questions was about the roads and 1488, people crying in the back of the woods. And saying that, woodlands, there's no more, they're not going to create any more subdivisions in woodlands. That's it. We talk about in woodlands.
Right.
150,000 communities, people for living in that community. And we're expanding to, I guess it's hitting us over here. So 1488, North Conroe, all those areas, everybody's complaining about 105, sir. They're crying about 105. They're trying 105 in the north and 105 south to southeast to East Montgomery.
Yeah.
You can see that.
So Jason, you've been working with me down at the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Tell us what's going on and what's going on with the roads in general in Montgomery County.
Vamos a hablar sobre las calles en Montgomery County porque mucha gente se ha quejado acerca de lo que está pasando con Montgomery County en la 105, en la 1488, en todo lo que es los feeders, todo. Hay mucha reconstrucción, hay mucho reampliamiento porque estamos creciendo. Entonces, Jason está encargado de esa parte. Go ahead, Jason.
So, I mean, as you know, there's a lot of projects moving right now. 1488 is under construction, 105 East is under construction, 1097 is under construction, and these are all TxDOT projects. Exactly. So these are all projects that are run by the state. 105 East still has quite a ways to go. The sections that are under construction now, which is 10th Street and Conroe going all the way out to Cleveland, is not expected to complete until the fall of 2027 right now.
Oh my God.
So we've still got, a little under 3 years to go
exactly.
for completion on those. 1097's moving along great, and as soon as they complete that section that's going up to the bridge close to Bentwater, then they're going to start pretty close after that on Bentwater all the way out to Montgomery.
County.
Widening that section, it's going to be 4 lanes there, and the bridge project is going to be huge. So that's probably going to be the last part.
And that bridge is over water, so there's a lot of work on that one. That's scary. I know. I passed through it. Yeah. I've been going through it, so I know.
Yeah, that one's gonna.
Expensive.
It's gonna be expensive. Exactly.
Oh, big time. I mean, Old Conroe Road. That's something the city of Conroe and Commissioner Riley have been working on for a while. That project is winding its way through the Metropolitan Planning Organization right now. But costs on that are expected to be, well in the hundreds of millions of dollar range.
Ok, estamos hablando ahorita de lo que está pasando. La 105, el lado corriendo, o sea, toda la 105, del norte a sur, para el lado de East Montgomery hasta Cleveland. Señores, espérense que termine ese proyecto hasta el 2027. Comiencen a contar, porque eso toma mucho tiempo. Hay que agrandar, hay que comprar terrenos, hay que mover. Ese es el esperado, el 2027 terminarlo. La 1097 por el área de Willis hacia el norte, llegando al Lake Conroe, toda esa área se está renovando, van a volver, están haciéndola de un lado, tienen que terminarla del otro y hay que poner y extender ese puente. Ese puente va a ser más de $100 y pico de millones de dólares solamente en esa construcción, ese tramo. Old Road, que el comisionado Riley está trabajando en esa parte. Señores, el comisionado Riley está tratando de terminar de extender esa parte para poder que sea más factible la comunicación de vías en el área del norte, en el precinto 3, que es donde él cubre. Jason dice claramente que hay muchos proyectos trabajándose. 1488 1488 is going to continue, sir, because it ended up in I-45, but I'm pretty sure you guys are going to extend it too. Am I right? Are you guys going to try to do extension on 1488? Because it finishes in I-45 And I see
Right.
kind of like you guys gonna try to extend it
All the way across.
all the way
to
across
East
to
County eventually.
East County.
Eventually.
Is that something that probably gonna be?
Eventually, that will probably be something that's going to be needed. I know 242 just underwent a pretty decent widening project.
And even like that, sir, 242 at 5 o'clock. Jesus Christ! in that building, that wave in the top.
Do you know how people can help with this? They can leave for work at different times. And if businesses would orient their hours just within an hour separate from each other, where if one group at a certain time would open at a certain time and another at another certain time, so the employees could get there in staggered ways.
Yeah, but that's something that we can talk to the business owners. But
That's
the
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, it's Chamber of Commerce, exactly. But not only that, my issue is not only, remember, not only the Chamber of Commerce, we're talking about the people that are working downtown for other type of, of companies that are not even Montgomery County related. They're not going to change their hours just because of whatever, but at least that will alleviate a lot. 242 is expanding, and it's gonna be constructed all the way to past. But now with new neighborhoods in that area, like Atravia and all the brand new ones, basically, that's going to be a huge mass impact.
Interestingly enough, a lot of people may not be aware that the Woodlands Township actually has public transportation that goes downtown.
People don't understand that.
You know, I hear a lot of the folks from the Woodlands that actually utilize that, where they say, I'm able to jump on, catch another nap on my way to work, and get there. I think they've got several stops downtown that they use.
They do.
And that's something that the Woodlands Township has done a pretty good job. That's also funded through the Metropolitan Planning Organization.
When I was working in United and downtown, I used to take that Woodlands Express down because I was living in Woodlands in that same area. So yeah, it's very convenient. It's not expensive, and you can stop driving. Of course, it was easy for me because at 5 o'clock in the morning, get the first one.
Oh yeah, you catch the early bus.
I catch the early buses. United, you don't play games. You have to be there on time.
Right.
So, so I know the whole drill, but not everybody knows about that. Exactamente. Es lo que acaba de decir Jason, que mucha gente no sabe que en Woodlands, sobre todo el Township, la municipalidad de Woodlands.
And also in Conroe. I mean, we have transit.
Transit too, exactamente.
that's exactly
En
right.
Conroe tienen transit y en Woodlands tiene el grupo de Woodlands del Township, que es la municipalidad, tienen un bus expreso que los lleva hasta downtown. Si usted trabaja en el área de downtown, usted puede parquear su carro gratis en el parqueo, agarrar el bus e irse a downtown y regresar. Y tienen varias paradas en el área de downtown, donde usted no tiene que ni siquiera gastar en gasolina, le ayudaría lo que se ahorra en gasolina lo puede pagar en el pasaje mensual, llega a tiempo a su trabajo y no tiene que preocuparse. Pero hay áreas como en la 242, que estamos hablando específicamente, Jason y yo, la 242 que viene extendida desde Magnolia y la 1488, se extiende la 242 hasta Cleveland. Esa área está siendo renovada porque hay demasiadas nuevas subdivisiones que se están creando a lo largo de la 242. Entonces, cuando llega a las 5 de la tarde o a las 9, 8 de la mañana, hay un tapón en el área del bridge. Cuando se convierte la 242 en 45, esa área se llena completamente y cuando se va bajando en el ritmo, cuando se conecta con la 242 yendo hacia Magnolia. Hay tapones por todos lados, pero ¿por qué? Porque eso significa que estamos creciendo demasiado. Entonces, como podemos hacer es que si usted es dueño de negocio, con las cámaras de comercio, podemos tener unas reuniones para que usted como dueño de negocio tenga a sus empleados en rotación. Cuando tú entras a las 10, tú entras a las 11, tú entras a las 9, esa rotación para que la persona cuando venga viajando tenga esté menos lleno el área de transporte. Cuando tenemos, le está diciendo al señor Keough, a George Keough, que podemos hablar con las cámaras de comercio, la de Woodlands, la de Conroe, la hispana, o sea, todas las cámaras de comercio, para que ellos se pongan, la de East County, para que ellos pongan de su parte, para que hablen con los empleadores privados y puedan aliviar la carga de manejo y la carga de transportación durante esas horas. Sir? Now, the last one to talk is about our little animals.
The animal shelter.
Yeah, but not only that, sir, not only about the animal shelter, but there's a lot of, in Precinct 4 and in Precinct 3 that I've known, there's a lot of loose dogs and animals, cats that are straight. They're in the street. Nobody's caring for them, and I can see them in my neighborhood. They're just, they're just there. No leash, no care, no collar, no nothing. Something that scares the freak out of me, because they can bite us, and I don't know if they have a rabies shot. I have my dog with a collar with a rabies shot, but not everybody has that.
Sure.
So how can we just get that to the community and then talk about
Well, we talk about this all the time, and this is a big deal because most of it is, there are people that have dogs. They let them out in the daytime. They come back at night. During the day, they pack up. They pack with other dogs and they run the streets. And the fact of the matter is that that's violation of our codes. I mean, you have to have a dog on a leash. And the people need to pay attention to that. Another issue that has to do with making sure that they spay or neuter their dogs or their cats. This is a big deal because we have this constant reproduction of animals, and I don't know that we'll ever get a real handle on solving it completely. But there are certain parts of the county where there really isn't an issue. East County is very tough.
East County, because the population of Hispanic community that we're used to see all the stray dogs in our counties, that they can go and do whatever they want to and just leave your dog without a chain.
And here, just to give you an idea, we have right now, and so we're a no-kill shelter. We don't want to kill animals. People will euthanize them. They'll put them to sleep if they're there with them too long. And we're about a 95% no-kill. That means we're adopting these animals. We're trading them across the country. And it's a huge effort on our part because we care about these Montgomery County animals.
Exactly.
But we have to get the people to understand that they've got to keep their dogs within a leash. On a leash, they need to spay or neuter their dogs.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I had this issue since I live in an unrestricted area, and I have my own house and my property.
Yeah.
And my puppy's inside of my house. He's not outside, and when I go outside, I go with a leash, and
Sure.
he doesn't go out of the fence, never. Because,
Right.
an eagle can pick him up and take him.
Well,
That's what I say. But there's dogs. There's a pit bull right now in my area, and there's a boxer that are straight. They're just walking out. The owners, they don't care. And the other day, the pit bull bite my neighbor in the back of her leg, really, literally. But I told her, something? We need to call the pond, because at this point the parents, the owners don't care for the dogs. The dogs are loose and they're doing whatever they want to. And then they form a pack.
Right.
There's several of them. So I'm like,
Dogs are pack animals.
Exactly.
And so they'll find other dogs to hang with and run with. And it can be dangerous. There's no question about it. Yesterday, just to give you an idea of the volume that we have 433 animals right now at the Montgomery County Animal Shelter. 381 of those are dogs. We had one day this last week, we took in one day 27 dogs from one house. These people, they just got out of control. They didn't keep track of what they were doing. There was apparently a death in the family. So we take all these dogs in, trying to figure out a way that we can, after we spay or neuter them, make sure they're healthy, make sure they have their age-appropriate vaccinations, all those things. Then we do everything we can to adopt those animals out. We trade dogs to other parts of the country. We will take 120 of our animals up to Brandywine, Pennsylvania at the end of November. And they have very tough winters there, and so they have basically shortage of animals. Mm-hmm. We've got plenty, so we've made arrangements with them and Petco in order to be able to take those animals out. But it's tremendous, and it's expensive.
Okay.
It's a tremendous
And I'm going to go ahead and
effort.
tell them about the ordinance and the codes. They need to be understanding that, because this is not Latin America, that you just can walk the dogs around. Over here, the dogs are part of our families, and that's my son that we have. Mm-hmm. That's my baby. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's the way we treat them, and the dogs are supposed to be treated the same way we treat a human being. They have to have dignity in the way they live, in the way they eat, the way everything, and we can just not leave it out there, sir.
That's right.
Yeah, we have a big cultural difference in how we handle animals here than how they're handled in other parts of the world.
places. Exactly.
And because of our cultural difference, we have created laws to protect them.
Exactly.
Because we view them differently than other parts of the world.
I know, because I know, and I know a person that went to jail because she left her Doberman for 3 weeks by herself in the house without no food or nothing. The animal died Of course, she went to jail for 6 months.
Oh,
But
wow.
still, that's the coding we have. And that's
Yeah.
what we have to tell them. We pay over here but that's a violation of code. Automatically, you pay for either with time or either with money for what you did, okay?
Sure.
Estamos hablando ya de último, voy a cerrar con esto, sobre la situación del shelter de animales de Montgomery County. Ahorita mismo hay 433 animales, de los cuales 381 son perros, ¿ok? Ellos acaban de traer una familia de perros prácticamente de 27 perros de una sola casa que los tenían en malas condiciones y que realmente no pudieron continuar la cría de animales en esa casa. En muchas de las áreas de East County, en el condado 4, el condado 1, condado 4, hay un problema severo de animales en las casas que están siendo descuidados por los dueños. Quiero que sepa una cosa. Si usted tiene un perro y usted deja a su perro fuera de su casa y su perro no tiene un collar y no está en una correa y ese perro ataca a una persona, usted tiene un problema serio con la ley. Violó el código de mantener su perro en su casa y encima de eso agredió a una persona, automáticamente viene demandas personales. Si la persona murió, si el niño o la niña murieron o alguien murió, usted está en problemas severos. Primero que todo, ponga atención en eso. Agarre su perro, si es suyo, póngale collar, llévelo, manténgalo fuera del área de las calles, en su propiedad, amarrado y que no esté fuera. Porque hay muchas personas que tienen también armas. Y si usted muerde, si el perro suyo muerde a una persona, esa persona tiene el derecho de matar a su perro. Quiero que lo sepan. Apréndanse eso. Yo les digo claramente, I've seen it so many times when somebody's dog comes and bites somebody's kid, the owner of that kid comes and shoots the dog. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. He bought my kid. My kid is in very bad shape. That dog needs to die. You know? So that because we have the Second Amendment. You come to my property, I can shoot you. Okay,
what people need to do is when there is a dog bite like that and the skin is broken, they need to report it to animal control. It goes under a category called dangerous animals. That's right.
Okay. Cuando un perro muerde, automáticamente tiene que reportarlo al Centro de Animales de Control y porque eso está llamado ya un ataque peligroso. Sir, it was nice talking to you. My time is up.
It's always a pleasure,
okay.
Jenny.
And thank you, Jason, for your company, for your wise advice. And I will make sure that they are aware on this show that they are able to just go ahead and follow the rules because we need them to follow the rules in every aspect, you know, and that will help us a lot, sir, with everything,
right.
whether it's transportation, criminality, and shelter with animals and things like that, you know.
You know, one thing that's important, you know, the Hispanic community is heavily Catholic, and you know, it's important to understand that government is a creation of God.
Exactly.
And that, you know, the government isn't here to oppose you. And if you look at Paul's writing in Romans, it talks heavily in Romans chapter 13. It talks about, you know, that it is our job to abide by the rules that are created.
Dice que la mayoría de nosotros los hispanos somos católicos y que tenemos que entender que el Señor creó el catolicismo, pero también creó la política y se vio el gobierno y tenemos que mantener las leyes y hacernos guiar por las leyes gubernamentales. El Señor pagó impuestos, el Señor mandó a que obedeciéramos, démosle al César lo que es del César y a Dios lo que es de Dios. Usted tiene que tomar las iniciativas de poder proteger su familia y tomar al tiempo el control sobre su vida. Y la única manera es obedeciendo las leyes a nivel estatal, a nivel del condado y a nivel de los Estados Unidos. Que pasen muy buenas tardes. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you, Jason, so much. Thank you, Josh, again. Thank you for being with us, and it was a pleasure with you guys. We'll see you on our next show with Jenny Rosales in Voces en Acción. Bye.